Hi, my friends. Welcome to a new episode of our series, History of the Church. Today, we are going to continue talking about the history of the Catholic Church. One of the major and the important contributions of the Catholic Church in the Middle Ages is the flourishing of the monastic movements. Thousands of youth loved this lifestyle and joined many different monastic orders which existed all over Europe, and we had a lot of influence of them until today. What are the major monastic orders? We are going to talk about the three big monastic orders in Europe during the Middle Ages based on the influence and the input they introduced for the whole world until today. Let's start by the Franciscans. The Franciscan order was founded by Saint Francis of Assisi, who was born in Assisi, Italy in the year 1181, and he died in the year 1226 at the age of 45. Francis grew up in a rich Italian family and enjoyed his life like any other younger man of his age. But after several incidents, at the age of 25, he took the vow of poverty and started to serve the sick and the needy. He felt that his calling was to repair the church. In the beginning, he took this calling literally, and he started to fix his town church, but later on he realized that the calling was aiming to obey God and help the poor. He started the Order of Lesser Brothers, and soon after he joined the Fifth Crusade as a preacher, and he visited Egypt in the year 1219. When he came back from his journey, he found that the brotherhood had grown to 5,000 in few years. He also helped establishing a female version of the Lesser Brothers, which is the Poor Clares for girls, making him one of the early fathers to inspire monks to serve community, which we can see it everywhere around the world today. In addition to that, he was a lover of nature, spending hours and hours in praying and meditation. And above all, we can remember also Saint Francis of Assisi as the first one to visualize the nativity scene as the manger and the baby Jesus, which became a tradition in Christianity, especially in the Christmas season until today. Saint Francis of Assisi was canonized as a Catholic saint in the year 1228 AD. The second Catholic monastic order we will talk about is the Order of Dominicans. This order was founded by Saint Dominique Guzman, who was born in Spain in the year 1170 and died in the year 1221. He was named Dominique according to one legend that his mother had a dream that she saw a dog leaping out of her womb with a torch in his mouth. The animal seemed to set the earth on fire. So, after his birth, his parents named Dominique as a play of the words from the Latin word Dominicani, which means the Lord's dog. An alternative and possibly more likely story says that he was named Dominique after Saint Dominique de Siles, a Spanish monk who lived in the 11th century. Dominique spent 6 years studying theology and 4 years studying arts. Dominique, as a monk, joined the order of Saint Benedict of Nursia, and he became the superior of the monastery when he was only 31 years old. Dominique also established a convent in France in the year 1206, which would become the first Dominican house known today as Notre Dame de Trouy Monastery in France. He also promoted the use of the Rosary, which he claimed to receive directly from the Virgin Mary during a period of prayers in his monastery in the year 1214. In the year 1215, he established the Order of the Preachers and dedicated most of his effort to fight heresies in Europe at that time. Following that, Dominique began a period of travel that would continue for the rest of his life. His followers managed to establish several new houses which were growing rapidly, and he was canonized as a Catholic saint in the year 1234 by Pope Gregory IX. Now we move to talk about the third order of the monastic movements in Europe during the Middle Ages, which is called the Society of Jesus, or also commonly known as the Jesuits. This order was founded by Ignatius Loyola, who was born in the year 1491 and died in the year 1556 in Spain. Ignatius was the youngest of 13 children, and he lost his mother when he was only 7 years old. By the time he was 18, Ignatius joined the army and became a soldier, fought in different battles. And during one of the battles in the year 1521, Ignatius was struck by a cannonball in his legs. To save his life and possibly his legs, doctors performed many different surgeries. Despite their best efforts, Ignatius' condition became worse. After suffering for months, his doctor warned him to prepare for death. On the feast of St. Peter and St. Paul, same year, Ignatius began to improve, as he decided after that to become a soldier in the army of our Lord Jesus Christ and dedicating all his life to God. He then decided to complete his education, which he dropped because of the army, studying theology in Paris even in the old age of 38 years old. The education was very structured and formalized. Later, Ignatius would be inspired to copy this model when he was establishing schools. In the year 1540, the Society of Jesus, or Jesuits, was organized, then approved by Pope Paul III. The Society of Jesus soon found their niche in education. During Ignatius' life, his order established around 35 schools and boasted about 1,000 members. Today, the Society of Jesus is known for their work in education, especially in high schools all over the world. Several universities and houses were founded and named after Ignatius of Loyola, and the Jesuits also performed many other important works around the globe. Ignatius was canonized as a saint in the Catholic Church in the year 1622. Finally, let's quickly have a look on some of the major historic incidents that passed through the Roman Catholic Church until today. In the year 1014, the Filioque Clause was formally and officially added to the Nicene Creed. Between the year 1095 and 1291, the Catholic Church moved 9 crusades towards different places in the world. In the year 1245, there was the first Catholic mission to Mongolia. Between the years 1378 and 1417, the Catholic Church suffered from another schism, which is called the Western Schism. In the year 1378, the focal point of power moved from Italy to France. And accordingly, the Pope as well moved to stay in some city called Avignon in France. This did not find the approval of the Italian people, so they moved and they appointed another Pope. So we have now one Pope in France and one Pope in Italy. In order to fix the problem, the church leaders gathered in a council and they agreed that they have to force the 2 popes to resign, and they anointed a 3rd pope. But unfortunately, the 2 popes in Italy and France, they did not resign. And now we had 3 popes concurrently leading the Catholic Church. This issue continued for almost 40 years until another council was held in Pisa, Italy. And at this time, the 3 popes endorsed the decisions of the council, and the schism ended by electing Pope Martin V, who resided in Rome according to the Catholic tradition. In the year 1472 as well, there were some trials to reunite the Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox churches, but unfortunately, these kind of trials failed. In the year 1492, the age of discoveries and missionaries started. In the year 1582, Pope Gregory XIII started the use of the new calendar, commonly known as the Gregorian calendar, after recalculating the circulation of the Earth around the Sun. And finally, in the year 1929, the Vatican City was founded. Now you can see on the screen more references if you want to dig deeper on the topics that we discussed today. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Pray for us. Bye.